Hey everyone, it's Autumn. Today I'm going to do a video about Beauty Pie. And I have seen a few videos online about Beauty Pie, but every time I look in the comment section, there's always been a lot of confusion about how they work, what they are, if the products are worth it, and the quality of the products. So that's pretty much what this video is going to be. It's going to be a two-part video, and I'm going to pretty much give you all the information I have. So I have been with the company since December of 2016, and that's the month that they started. So I've been with them pretty much since the beginning, and I have a good idea of how the company works, and I've been through a few ups and downs with them, and I'm still with the company. So if that lets you know that I still do enjoy the company, and I will let you know what to avoid and how to save money, and also the products that I highly suggest that you purchase. I'm going to start out by telling you what Beauty Pie is. They're a direct-to-consumer, membership-based luxury beauty brand, and that just means they don't have any brick-and-mortar stores, and they don't sell their products to other stores to sell for them. The company was started by Marsha Kilgore, who is also the same person who started Soap and Glory, Bliss, and another brand that I'm not familiar with called Super Duper. They have different product lines within their Beauty Pie brand, and the labs that they use are from all over the world, and they say that those are the same labs that different luxury beauty brands use. And I have seen some similarities to other luxury brands, and I've also seen that in some of these products you can kind of see that they're trying to make their products seem similar to some of those, and I will show you that probably in the second video. And in the second video also, that is where I have done my makeup using all Beauty Pie products. On the Beauty Pie website, they claim that they are clean and cruelty-free. And I just want to touch on both of those things really quickly, because clean just means, it's like a marketing word, and all that means is that it is safe for humans to use. So anybody pretty much can say that they're clean as long as it's safe for a human. So that's just kind of a marketing tool. So some brands are still cleaner than others. So I'm not really going to sit here and tell you that their products are all natural or whatever. They just say that they're clean. So take from that what you will. Just make sure you look at the ingredients as you go down and make your own decisions. They also say that they're cruelty-free, and a lot of their products are also marked as vegan. However, they are not listed on the Leaping Bunny website. Leaping Bunny doesn't charge for anybody to be listed on their website, so I'm not quite sure why they're not on the website. All they have to do is contact Leaping Bunny and tell them that they want to be listed, and it doesn't cost them anything. The only thing Leaping Bunny does charge for is if you want the Leaping Bunny logo to be on your products, you do have to charge for the licensing for that, or they do charge for the licensing for that. So I'm not quite sure why they haven't done that, just so that they're listed. So take from that what you will, but they do say that they are cruelty-free. Alright, so here's how Beauty Pie works. There are multiple different ways to have a membership. They used to have it where you didn't have to have a membership and you could just purchase the products at full price, which they said were the typical price, and then there was the membership price. Now it seems like you can't do that. I've gone on the website and I have to sign in before I can look at the products. So I'm not sure if they've taken away that. I don't know, but it appears now to purchase from them, you do have to have your membership. They do say on their website that you have to have a minimum of a 3-month membership. So you can get the minimum membership, which is $10 a month, and that will give you a $100 allowance each month. And what that means is that that doesn't mean you could get to spend $100 on their cheaper prices each month. The allowance is $100, which means if a product, if it retails for which there would be their MSRP for $44. For example, this foundation retails for $44. You would be able to purchase this and then like maybe 2, possibly 3 other items if they were smaller, and that would meet to your $100 allowance. And so typically each month I have a $300 allowance, and I can generally get, if it's skincare, I can get about, if it's the really expensive items, maybe some of their items retail for $100, so I'm only able to get maybe 3 items, but I end up spending maybe $60 doing it that way. It just varies. I will give you some examples later on in the video to make it more clear, but just know that you're spending less money than the $100 because that's the MSRP and you're paying the lower amount of money. So what you're paying for is your membership price to be able to buy the amount of money, and the membership price is for every $10 you get $100, and then you're paying the amount of money for that. So then whatever the amount of money that they say it costs to make that item, to make it and to also warehouse it. And then you're also paying your shipping, which their shipping now is a flat rate. Another membership option they have is to pay yearly. So again, they have 3 tiers, which is if you were to pay monthly, they have the $10, the $20, the $30, which I have the $30, which gives me $300 a month allowance. If you pay yearly, again, they still have the $10 tier, the $20, and the $30. If you just go ahead and pay yearly, you end up getting 2 months for free. So it ends up being about, I think for the $10 range, you end up just paying like, I think $99 or $100. And again, for the $20 range, I think it's either $199 or $200. I'll put something up here on the screen, and so on. You can do top-ups. So say you don't want to spend the full amount of money each month, but for 1 month there's a product that you really want to purchase, you can spend a little bit of extra money for that month to get your allowance up to a certain point, and then you can purchase that item. Referrals are a little bit different here. You don't get money off or anything free. So if I were to refer you, I don't get anything free, but what I do get is a little bit more allowance. So if you use my referral code, which I will leave below, and then also if they just ask you who referred you and you say Autumn Moore, I will get a little bit more allowance to where I can purchase more from them. Oh, and if you use my referral, I think you get your first month free. So your first month would be a $100 allowance. You get that for free, and then you only have to pay for the discounted product and shipping. So in an effort for them to keep their costs down and still keep the products themselves luxury, they try to keep the packaging to a minimal, and they also say that that is something that is good for the environment as well. And they do have a statement about that, which I'll put here on the screen. Their packaging is very similar to, I would say, like Bobbi Brown packaging. Which I will show you an example. Okay, so here are 2 Bobbi Brown compacts that I have. And then their packaging is very similar to that. And also these are very similar to the little Bobbi Brown cream blush compacts as well. And this is a concealer. So very similar packaging to that. They try to keep their packaging to a minimal, and they use the same type of packaging for everything. They also say that they don't add added weights into their packaging either. So their packaging is pretty light. All right, so I want to talk about whether or not it's really a good deal. So I've discussed a little bit about the packaging, them saving money with the packaging, which I think the packaging is still substantial enough. I haven't really had any problems with the packaging. There's maybe been one item where the packaging I felt was a little bit kind of cheap, but there have been a few things that I've noticed that they kind of inflate the MSRP a little bit. And that's been especially in the skincare. So this right here is their Super Dose Vitamin C Oxygen Boosting Moisturizer, in which I really enjoy this moisturizer. I use it pretty often. However, their MSRP on this moisturizer is $65. And I would not pay $65 for this moisturizer. So that was something that I thought was a little bit off. Also, their shampoos, I really do enjoy their shampoo. The one with the blue lettering, the one with the pink lettering, I did not like, which the one with the blue lettering is the moisturizing, the pink lettering is the strengthening. This retails, I believe, for around $36, I think is what they said the MSRP, and the conditioner was $38. So for the shampoo and the conditioner together, they say, I guess that would be $74. I would not pay $74 for the shampoo and conditioner together. But then when you go to purchase it, they're charging you only around, I think, $5 each for them. So then that I would pay $5 each for them. So where you run into a problem is you are paying your $10 or however much a month your membership is to get that allowance. So what I end up doing is I look at the allowance amount at the beginning of it and pretty much whatever the first number is. So say their MSRP says $36, $35, I just pretty much add that dollar amount. So if it's $36, I would add $3.60 onto whatever the amount this is. So if this is $5, so then that ends up being $8 and, you know, whatever amount of cents. So would I still pay $8 and something for the shampoo to try it out? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do that to give it a try. And then also, depending on how many items you have in your cart or however much, you are also paying for your flat rate of shipping. So then, I mean, it adds up. So you have to then kind of look at your cart and decide, are those items worth that amount of money? Okay, so if you are starting out with just your $100 a month allowance, which would be your $10 membership, I'm gonna show you what that would look like as far as the products that you could get and the price, what it would average out to be, including shipping, what you would pay for it, including your membership and all of that. So I have a couple of different scenarios, and I'm going to put some screenshots of the products, and I'm just going to kind of talk about the prices and all of that fun stuff. So I have my little sheet here where I've done the math. So in the first scenario, I'm going to talk about their eyeshadow sticks. So here are the products, the eyeshadow sticks. I have tons of them, and when I'm doing the more product focused video, which will be the second one where I'm showing you what's on my face, I will go more in depth about these, possibly do some swatches, good stuff like that. But this is a product I would say that you should definitely get if you like cream eyeshadow sticks. I think that their prices are good on these, and I do think that these are luxury quality. I don't think that all their products are luxury quality. I do think that these are. So these I think are a good buy. But I'm going to go ahead and show you what it would kind of average out to be. So the Laura Mercier caviar sticks retail for around, I think, $29, I think, right now. And they say on their website that these compare, or their MSRP are $28. So that seems about right to me. So that's not an inflated MSRP. Again, some of these MSRPs I do think are inflated for their products and for the quality of the products that they're offering. If you had the $100 allowance, you would be able to get 3 of these. Depending on the shade you get, they're going to cost a little bit different. And so I've put, here's a screenshot right here. One of them costs $4, one's $4.13 and one's $4.07. And then also you still have a little bit of allowance left, and I think that their nail polishes are also really great. With their nail polishes, I don't use them alone. I do use their top coat and their base coat, which those retail for, or MSRP for $18. So I guess next month you should maybe get those. But their nail polishes I do highly suggest. Very rarely do nail polishes stay on my nails for a couple, more than like a day or two. I can get those to stay on my nails for a week, sometimes 2 weeks if I use the base coat and the top coat along with it. Also, if you notice here on the screenshot, along with the nail polishes that I've shown, the silver shade for whatever reason retails for $18. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because of the pigment that they've put into it. but that is also something I wanted to point out that I thought was a little bit weird. I kind of understand why the top coat and the base coat retail for $18, but for whatever reason the silver shade also retails for $18. So anyway, when you're adding all these products up, you've got $1 left after your MSRP, by the way. So your MSRP, adding all those up, is $99, but out of pocket you are paying $14.77. But then also keep in mind you're also paying your $10 membership fee. Plus you are paying your flat shipping rate of $8.27, which then brings you to $33.04. One shadow stick, if you were to buy from Laura Mercier or Bobbi Brown, will cost you around $29. So to me, that's a good deal. The average cost per item in that scenario is $8.26. Also, the reason I'm including the shipping and the membership cost in here is because that is a cost that you have to incur. Instead of just the cost per makeup on here, a lot of the times when you buy from Nordstrom, they have free shipping. And also you don't have to pay the membership, and that's included in the price of the product. So I'm including everything in these prices because that is a price that you're paying. All right, so scenario number 2 is if you were to want to purchase their candles. So I have a candle handy right here. I actually have all my products handy right here, but here is a candle in the Clean House scent, which literally just smells like clean laundry. It's a really nice, clean scent. Their candles remind me quite a bit. It's like they're kind of the look and feel of those luxury sort of diptyque sort of feel of candles. I wouldn't 100% say that they are as good as diptyque candles, but I think that's what they're going for. And if you're curious, I have handy here a few of the other scents. And for whatever reason, the scent Double Vanille, their vanilla candle, doesn't have this on it. It actually just has a paper sort of sticker on it, and I'm not sure if you can see that. There we go. So there is some of the products do have inconsistencies in packaging, and this one is one of them, and I'm not sure why. But anyway, going into that, they say that these candles, the retail value is $50 per candle. So again, looking at this candle, would you pay $50 for this candle out on the market? Probably not. But let's just go ahead and play along here. So then their candles, if you go to buy them on the website, depending on what scent you get, again, they're different prices. I just went ahead and I just chose the first 2 candles in the screenshot just to make it fair. I thought if I just went and chose the most expensive ones, it would be kind of, you know, silly. It's going to depend on what scent you want. So in all of these, I chose the first ones that came up in my scenarios. So the first one is $14.08 and the second one is $15.86. So again, that uses all of your $100 allowance because each candle MSRPs for $50, and that brings you to $29.94. Then plus you've spent your $10 to earn your allowance, and then plus your $8.27 for shipping. That brings your total to $48.21. So then when you average that out, you pay $24.11 about per item. So again, you got to think about, would you pay $24.11 for one of these candles? I mean, they're nice. I'm not sure that I would continue to. They do have some new scents that are coming out that are more up my alley, which are more the tobacco sort of scents, and so maybe I may pay that much to try those. But again, their retail value, I've noticed on the website, are actually higher than these $50 retail values, which I find to be a bit odd. All right, and then the last scenario I'm giving you, I wanted to give you one in like each little area on the website, is in the skincare. So skincare, I find that their MSRPs on a lot of the skincare items are marked pretty high. So, and also depending on your skincare needs and the type of products you like, you might agree that it's worth it or not worth it. What I can tell you about the skincare is I have not had problems with any of their skincare items, and since using their skincare, my skin has been great. So I will say that I haven't had any problems with breakouts or anything like that from their skincare. And I do find that their skincare has been quality, and I've really enjoyed using it. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the last scenario, which is this Super Healthy Skin Daily Defense Serum. So this serum, they say the MSRP is $100. And I have a screenshot here describing the serum here. So again, you're going to use your $10 allowance just to buy this one item. This one item on their website will cost you $11.35. Then you also have to pay the flat rate shipping of $8.27, which will then bring you to your total of $29.62 just for the serum. So here's where you kind of run into issues if you're wanting to purchase skincare with them. If you're wanting to purchase skincare, you obviously are going to want a routine, and a $100 a month allowance is not going to cut it. And I've seen a lot of people a little bit angry about that, about the whole allowance thing on the Facebook groups. And I don't think that they realize that you can purchase different tiers of membership. So just be sure that if you're wanting to purchase skincare, just go ahead and just purchase a higher tier. You can also just purchase a 1-up and just purchase a little bit more allowance for that month if there's something more that you want to purchase. And maybe that would be a better route for you to take. So like I mentioned, as far as whether or not Beauty Pie is worth it, there are some items that I think are totally high-end worthy, and a lot of them I would say are the skincare, or at least they work for me. There may be items at the drugstore that work just as well as these items, or just as well as luxury, but I do find that I have to kind of sift through the drugstore items to find those, and it's more trial and error. And the same thing buying luxury skincare. I've found a lot of things with luxury skincare that really have irritated my skin because there's a ton of fragrance in it. Now, they do put fragrance in some of their skincare here. And you can also check their ingredients list. They have everything listed on there before you purchase it. None of their skincare here, I think, is overly fragrant, and I haven't had any issues with my skin, which is sensitive. Everything here has been very pleasant to use, and I have had zero issues. So if you're somebody who is into skincare and you're wanting to try some things, but you've had issues with trying things out and it irritating your skin, this might be a good place to start, because I find sometimes I'm just wasting my money buying things at the drugstore or buying things on at Sephora and stuff like that, and then still coming up short with finding things that irritate my skin. So I do have the $30 a month allowance, but that doesn't mean that I purchase from them every single month. And the reason I don't do that is because I want to save my allowance up and then purchase all at once. And I do that for a couple of reasons. Since they do have the flat rate shipping, I can make a huge order. I can save up for 2 to 3 months, make a huge order, and then only still pay the $8.27 and have everything shipped to me all at once. And that brings my cost down. Another reason I do that is because they come out with new items every couple of weeks, and I want to make sure that I have an allowance there in case something is brought into Beauty Pie and I want it. And if I've used up my allowance the previous month and then they bring something in, then I can't get it. Then it's gone when my new allowance comes in and it's already sold out. So I just like to keep some money in my, I guess, my allowance bank in Beauty Pie, and then that way when something rolls in and I want to make my purchase, I go ahead and do that. Sometimes some of my favorite things that I like to keep on hand will go out of stock on their website. And I also keep money in my allowance bank so that when they do come back in stock, I can stock up on them and make sure I don't run out. For example, this Japan Fusion cleanser, I like to keep this in stock. It's my favorite cleanser on their website. It's super gentle. And it's kind of like a, I don't know, like a cream gel to oil cleanser. It just removes all my makeup. It's super, super gentle and it's moisturizing. And I think it's awesome. I'll just, here, show you that. And it's part of the whole Japan Fusion line is super moisturizing. It's great for dry skin. So I think that's also something to keep in mind with your allowance, especially if you're somebody who wants to keep bringing these products in. It's not just to try products. If you want to keep a routine on, just make sure that you keep your stuff there and then you have access to your allowance so you don't run out. I also like to keep their retinol line. I have backups here. Okay, so I'm going to kind of tell you, as far as the makeup is concerned, just a quick rundown of what I think, if you're a first-time purchaser, what to buy and what to avoid. And what I mean by that, just pretty much things that I think perform like luxury, and then the other things as far as what to avoid. You may end up loving those items if you stay with the company for a while and you try them out, but they're items that I've tried and in my opinion, they don't really perform like luxury, or in good conscience, I cannot suggest them because for one reason or another, I've had issues with them, or I just don't think they're quite worth the money after you include your membership and you include the shipping. You could just get something similar at the drugstore, and I just don't think it's quite at the luxury mark that they are advertising. These that I think are totally worth it and perform like luxury, or even better than some of my luxury products. There is this highlighter, and this formula is their best powder formula for highlighter. There are other powder formulas, which I guess I'll kind of go into now, which are the to avoid formulas. There are other powder formulas of highlighters are kind of trying to mimic the Bobbi Brown Shimmer Bricks, which they're kind of like this. I have all 3 shades. They show texture on the skin, and they're just not that great. So I still use them sometimes as maybe cheek toppers, but as far as highlighters, they're just not as good as I would want them to be. They also have a powder, which sometimes people use these to brighten or as highlighters, or sometimes people use them as powders. This is kind of like their answer to the, I guess, the Hourglass ambient lighting powder. So this is an Hourglass ambient lighting powder, which mine's almost used. But this is their Radiance Powder Moonlighting Balm, and it's really bizarre, in which a lot of people on their reviews said this was similar to Dim Infusion, which I find that the texture of this is really weird, and they say it's like a balm, which it kind of is. Like, the texture is really bizarre, and on my hand it looks okay, but it deepens on my face, and I just not a fan of this. And also the shades on their website are a little bit weird. This is the only one I have though, so it's the only one I can speak for. So then I guess, speaking of powders, this powder, which I really love, is their One Powder Wonder, and it is a dupe for the NARS, and it is the light reflecting setting powder. And I always use this to set my under eye to make sure that my mascara does not smudge on the under eye area. The thing with the NARS is, the NARS makes my face itch if I try to use it all over my face. This one I can use all over my face and it doesn't make my face itch. And I actually like using this one before I apply my bronzer. I have an issue where bronzer doesn't want to adhere to my skin in certain places, or it skips. If I use this first, it's smooth application, so I really enjoy using this before I apply bronzer and blush for smooth application all over. So I really enjoy this. I already mentioned these, but the Beauty Pie, obviously everything here is Beauty Pie, but their shadow sticks are great. They are just as good as the Bobbi Brown, the Laura Mercier. They're amazing, and the price is right on these. All of the shades that I've got are beautiful. I think there are maybe 1 or 2 more shades that I don't own, but they're great. I don't really suggest their powder eyeshadows. I feel like to say that they're as good as luxury eyeshadows, they're not. I would say that if they're comparing themselves to any luxury eyeshadow brand, there are a few formulas that they have. The first formula is this formula, which I thought, since because of the packaging and the way they are, would be similar to the Laura Geller, which these aren't that great. So the one that I used in the look today is this one, which I find to be the best one, and it's Beautiful Neutrals. And it does an okay job, but then this one right here, which is Guilty Pleasures, it just doesn't really do much of anything, and it's nowhere near as good as the Laura Geller. So I don't really suggest that formula at all. And then their other formula, this formula, which I find to be very similar in texture to, not quite as slippy, but very similar in texture to maybe the Lancome or the L'Oreal. I guess it would be closer to the longer palettes that are like this, the L'Oreal ones, which Lancome and L'Oreal I think may be the same umbrella company, but they're very similar. But the first ingredient in these are talc. And I find that a lot of these shadows, they just keep blending away. They look pigmented like when you go to swatch them, in which these ones in that palette aren't so bad. But then you go to swatch them and they just go to blend away. They don't really stay, they're not that great. They kind of wanted to make a dupe of, like, you look at this and it looks very similar, and a lot of their stuff I could tell was made to mimic Charlotte Tilbury products. But the MSRP on this, at least they didn't make the MSRP the same as this, which I think she sells this for around $75. The MSRP on this was around 40 something, but it's half the amount of product on this. Also, they don't use metal pans in there. It's pressed directly into there, which Lancome does the same thing, where they just press it directly into the plastic pan, which again leads me to believe that it's similar to Lancome as well. And that just the way the powders feel and everything just to me feels very similar to Lancome, which I'm not a huge fan of Lancome eyeshadows. I do like some of their blushes and highlighters sometimes. So some of these things do remind me in a good way of Lancome and sometimes in a bad way. I did recently pick up this eyeshadow palette, which is new. It's a new launch for them. And again, pressed directly into the pan. You can see that there's no metal pan. It's just into the plastic. And again, these just keep blending and blending away, which is good if you want a nice subtle eye. The black shade, I find that's a good thing if you want a nice subtle smoky eye, because it just, you can build it on there, but again, it just kind of goes nice and smooth. But again, the ingredients I find in their shadows, I thought this was a little bit odd, is first ingredient is talc, and then they have mica, which then they also have synthetic mica. And a lot of people right now, they are switching to synthetic mica because of the way regular mica is mined. There's a whole thing. A lot of companies use regular mica. I'm not judging or anything for that, but I thought it was a little bit odd that they use both regular mica and synthetic mica. But anyway, the pigmentation in their powder eyeshadows just isn't there. You can especially tell in like this blue right here, you would expect it to be nice and rich and deep. And when you put your hand in it, you would think it is, but then you go like this, and then the more you rub it out, the whole tone, it just changes. So I'm just really not impressed with them. And then when you go to blend them together, they do get really muddy looking. So again, just not really impressed with their powder eyeshadows. So one product I am impressed with that again kind of mimics Charlotte Tilbury are these. And they have, Charlotte Tilbury is like a contour wand with the sponge tip, and that's the same thing here. I love these. I think this is also a really great buy if that's something that you're looking into. They're very subtle. They blend out beautifully. I highly suggest these. What are these called? They're Wonder Glosses. These are like a lip oil balm hybrid. I highly suggest these as well. These are great. They're regular sorts of lip glosses that look like this. I am not impressed. They're kind of sticky. I think all of them have glitter. These are called their beach glosses, and they all kind of have glitter. I don't like the way they feel on my lips. And then also this one, which is their other gloss formula. I don't know. It was in my first order that I got. It's kind of seems like goopy or whatever. I've not super impressed with that formula either. Also, I have some lipsticks and like these lip crayon sorts of things. These are okay, but again, I'm just not super impressed for what they say the MSRP is. So that's something that I think you would be able to skip and you would be perfectly fine. I know that since she's the creator of Soap and Glory has products very similar to this, so I feel like it's around the same realm. I do highly suggest their Triple Beauty Liquid Luminizer in Golden Whirl. This just gives you the look of healthy skin when you put it on. It's almost like when you put your finger in it, I don't want to quite say like a putty, but the more it wears on your skin, the healthier it looks. It kind of like wears in. So when I first swatch it, I don't know if it will pick up. It may not look that great, but then it wears into the skin and wears down, and it just makes your skin look beautiful and healthy. You may see this product on their website and think that it is this. It is not. These are super shimmery and not as pigmented, and they show texture on the skin. Not the same thing at all. So I just wanted to point that out. I think you get this looking for this, you're gonna be disappointed. I was expecting a little bit more out of their lip balm as well. Again, I use it when I'm getting ready because I end up wiping it off. But again, it leaves a white cast and it's not super moisturizing. Their beauty blenders though are really great. Also, their eyebrow products, their pencil products are also really great. They have the definer ones like this that are very similar to the Anastasia, but also a lot of drugstore brands are also coming out with these right now. And then also they have this one, which is their 3-in-1 super brow. It's like powder or whatever. It's really great as well. And then the last thing that I want to talk about as far as products and what I can't really recommend to you in good conscience, and I will go a little bit further into this in my next little segment, is their foundations and concealers. And the reason I can't really suggest them is because it's really hard to find a shade match. They do have a thing on there to where you can purchase their foundations in a little sample card, because they don't give samples out, but you can purchase samples. I think it's around $6 to purchase a sample. They do have a thing on there to where you can go ahead and purchase that and try out your shades. But again, they don't have a large shade range. When they first began the company, they only had 7 shades. I think now they have around 15, but the shades don't match from one line to the other. They do have a little shade matcher thing on there to where you can put in your perfect shade in one line and try, like from another line, say like Revlon or L'Oreal or whatever, and try to match your perfect shade to what they do have in their line. But I did put in several different foundations that I have in my collection that are a good match for me now, and it actually kept giving me several different colors of foundation from their site. So I wouldn't 100% go by that. If you are really wanting to try their foundations, I would say just go ahead and buy the sample card. And I will do a better in-depth review on the quality of the makeup and the foundation and all that stuff in the second video. Okay, and then I'm also gonna just leave a list below of all the products that I think are worth your allowance when you're first starting out, things to try out that I highly suggest, because I actually wrote them down and then I was just going, I wrote it down and then I was just quickly going through it. The video would be too long if I just showed everything because I started going back and forth between it. But again, I am going to make a list. The next video will be more detailed as well. So now we're going to get into tea. They started in December of 2016 and my first order was December, I think 22nd of 2016. So I've been with them since the beginning. I have my laptop up here of all the points I want to talk about and all the things happened. And I am going to include some screenshots and also some different things that have happened. And I also want to talk about some price differences from my first order to how much things cost now on their website, which again, it's been 3 years, prices do change, but I did also want to point that out. Okay, so since I mentioned it, I'm just going to go ahead and start off with my first 2 orders that I had with Beauty Pie. So I have no proof that they changed what their MSRP was because they only show on my transaction how much I paid. So, but I will tell you how much I paid at the time, how much I would pay today, and then also what the MSRP for those items were. So I'm going to go ahead and put up a screenshot now while I talk, and have that here on the screen. My first order, I ordered the Great Skin Foundation, and it was $5.09. And then I also ordered the Golden World, the liquid luminizer. I ordered the matte lipstick in Nude Cowboy or whatever that shade was. I also ordered a lip liner and a brow pencil. My total for that order was $14.08, right? So again, the foundation was $5.09, and then today if I were to purchase the same foundation, it would be $7.20. The liquid luminizer was $2.83. If I were to get the same liquid luminizer today, it's $4.26. If I were to buy the same shade of that matte lipstick today, it would be $4.44. The same lip liner today, it would be $3.18. And the same brow pencil today would be $3.68. So if I were to make the same order just for the products, my total would be $22.76 versus the $14.08 that I paid then. So I added up the MSRPs, what it would be today, and the MSRP would be $137. And I was a little bit confused on that because my allowance was $100. So I'm not sure if they had a promo going that gave me like an extra $50 allowance. I'm not sure, or if the MSRPs are now inflated a little bit. I have no idea. I have no way of knowing that. So in order to investigate that, I did go ahead and try to check out month 2, but what I ended up doing after month 2, because I guess of shipping costs, I went ahead and I let my months go. I doubled up my months because at the time, I guess they were just allowing people to just have the $100 a month allowance. At that point, they did not have skincare, in which I'll get into that here in a minute as well. So, and they just had a limited range at that point too. They just had a few items. So on month 3, since I let my allowance roll over into the next month, I purchased the other foundation, which was the Serum Foundation, the Unbeatable Concealer, the Quantum Bronzer, which says matte, which I'll also get into that, the Powder Blush, the Flash False Mascara, the Super Glazy Moisture Lip Gloss and Brown Sugar, and the 3-in-1 Powder Pencil. My total for that order was $21.03. So the foundation was $4.95. And today, if I were to purchase it, it would be $7.30 for that shade. The concealer was $3.66. And today, if I were to purchase it, it would be $5.73. The bronzer was $3.21. And if I were to purchase it today, it would be $5.12. The blush was $2.68. And if I were to purchase it today, it would be $4.41. The mascara was $2.25. Today, if I were to purchase it, it would be $4.24. The lip gloss was $2.30. And today it is $3.89. And the powder pencil was $1.98. And today it is $3.19. So my total 3 years ago was $21.03. And now it would be $33.88. And the total MSRP for everything today would be $200 even. So again, and that's the thing, my allowance for 2 months at that point was $200. So I'm not sure what happened on the first month. Is maybe they gave me a bonus $50 allowance. I'm not sure. So I thought that was a little bit odd. So what I will say though, when they first started Beauty Pie, shipping was more expensive. It's a little bit cheaper now because they have flat rate shipping. So that does offset the cost a little bit for the price of what I'm paying. But I did find it to be a little bit crazy that the cost for them to make these items to be so much more expensive just in a 3-year span. So, because some of these items have doubled. And I don't know, I just found that to be a little bit weird. So take from that what you will. I have no information on that, and there could be many things that go into that. And just thinking a couple of reasons why things could be more expensive now. Ingredients may have become more expensive. The labs could be charging them more. They could be purchasing in smaller batches since they have more variety on their website now. They could be purchasing in smaller batches, and then that way, since it's a smaller batch, the items are more expensive for us. But then again, they have more customers now, so I'm not sure if that's what they're doing. And then also it just could be the price and things have gone up a few dollars, and we're not noticing it as much when you're purchasing, say, at the drugstore or on high end, because the markup is already there on those items. So say you're purchasing a $50 palette and they raise the price $1 or $2. You don't notice it as much as when you are purchasing a lip liner and they raise it $1 or $2, because now the price is doubled, but really that's just how much they've adjusted the price, if that makes sense. So it could be any of those things. Also, they used to have a transaction fee, which they no longer charge, which has also helped to bring the cost down. So overall, it's still not super expensive, but I just did want to point out that it was marketed as wholesale, and wholesale for them in the last 3 years has, for both of those orders, it looks like it has been almost, I guess it would be like 30, just in my head, about 30% more expensive. So that's, you know, something to take to note. Okay, so something else I find to be a little bit annoying, and I'll show an example of this right now on the screen, is that when you go to purchase a set that allows you to save a little bit of money, say you want to purchase a skincare line, the Japan Fusion is what I'm showing you right now on the screen. If you want to purchase a skincare line, you can purchase all the items together and it will allow you to save a little bit of money. All the items will be in stock, and then it will tell you as a set that it's not in stock. However, how is the set not in stock when all the individual items are in stock, but they don't package it any differently? When you purchase it as a set, they come individually in the mail to you. Like, they don't change the packaging at all for something that's in a set or not in a set. So I find that weird. When they package something, they just wrap everything in tissue paper and give it to you. So I find that to be a little bit odd, because you could just save the money that they're advertising to you, like, hey, buy the entire set and you can save a few dollars. But that's not the case. It usually saves you a little bit of allowance and a few dollars on the site, and they do it both ways. They do it to where maybe you don't want the entire set, but the set's the only thing available, and then they say that an individual item is out of stock. I've seen it both ways, and I find that extremely annoying. I touched on this a little bit when I was talking about what you should and shouldn't purchase when you first start out on Beauty Pie. And the foundations are a major sore point for me. So I have a weird skin tone, I guess, and I guess everybody's going to think that they're very hard to match, but I am, I would say, a light olive skin tone. And I have a little bit of redness in my skin, so people automatically want to put pink on me, but then also there's yellow, so then they want to put yellow on me, so then that makes me look yellow, but then they see the pink and the yellow, so then they say, oh, well, then you must be neutral, and then they put orange on me, and everything looks bizarre. So I'm mostly, what I would say would be a light olive skin tone. So the thing that I have found that matches my skin the best is the IT Cosmetics CC cream in the shade Light, and it kind of has like that grayish toned olive yellow tone thing, and a lot of people say that they don't like that shade because it doesn't look good on them, but that's actually the closest match to my skin. So they do have a foundation matching tool on their website, but for whatever reason that shade has been skipped. And so then when I go onto the website and then I'm trying to match that, I can't match it. That shade's not there. And then when I go to use other foundations that I have and I'm trying to match those onto their website, all of these other foundations match me pretty well, and each one that I put in gives me a different shade from their range. I've tried multiple shades from their range, and they're either way too light, way too yellow, way too pink, way too orange. So I have yet to find a shade that's a really great match. Today I'm using the shade in 250 Weedy, which is a little bit too, I would say maybe a little too yellow for me. and I forget what they say it is, but it's, I don't know, the shade's just not quite right. I'm not sure if you can tell, and I'm a little bit broken out down here because I've had dairy, but the shade's just not quite right for me. The formula though is you can thin it out, which I end up doing to try to make their foundations, and most foundations, match for me because I am a hard person to match. What's unfortunate though is that they only have 15 shades in their entire range. And when they started, they only had 7 shades when they started their company, which I find to be crazy. They also say that this foundation right here, I believe they say MSRP is $46, and this foundation is MSRP $44. A lot of people wanted to compare this, maybe because of the bottle or whatever, to the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. It's not close to that. I do find that this gives a really natural finish to the skin if you don't put too much on. This foundation is very easy to put way too much on your skin, and then it doesn't look natural at all. I would say maybe 1-2 pumps top, and then also I would use, at least start out using a brush and buff it into the skin, or use your hands, and then if you absolutely have to use a beauty blender, go in. If you start with a beauty blender for whatever reason, I think this must have waxes or something like that in it, it doesn't adhere to the skin. You have to start out with it on the skin, and then you can use a beauty blender after that. But for whatever reason, it does not like the beauty blender. This one right here, the Micro Mineral, this one, they say, I don't know what they're trying to compare this to, but again, The Ordinary has a foundation that's very similar, and you don't have to pay a membership to be part of The Ordinary, and I think they sell it for around $7. So this has a little bit more coverage than The Ordinary foundation, but again, it's a similar foundation, and their MSRP I think is highly inflated for this particular foundation. Which also, this is very silicone-y. It's like, it's got pigment, silicone, and water is all this is. So then the main thing I wanted to talk about on their foundations is, with their limited range, you would think that they would just go ahead and buy, when they go to the lab, just buy a huge amount of all of what they have. But for whatever reason, they kind of buy a lot of the middle shades and not a whole lot of the light and the dark. And when you do that, apparently it costs more to buy smaller batches of the light and the dark. And I kind of already knew this, but the reason that it came more to mind for me was because I was on the website one day doing actually research for this video, and I noticed that their lightest shade of this foundation, even after the discount and everything, was $16. And I took a screenshot of it, by the way, but it was $16. And so I reached out to them on Instagram and I asked them why it was $16. And I'll go ahead and I'll put that here on the screen for you. And what I said was, hi, quick question. I'm getting ready to do a YouTube video giving an overview of Beauty Pie products and how the service works. And I couldn't help but notice that the lightest shade on your foundation is over $16 US, while all the other shades are around the $7 to $9 range. I know that it doesn't cost more to make, so is it more costly because it was made in a smaller batch because not many people are that light? I just want to be able to give accurate information. And then they replied with, hiya, yes, the price will be affected by the volumes that we buy in. Shades on either end of the spectrum are less popular, so we buy less, so the price will be higher than those we buy hundreds more of. And I said, perfect, thanks for clarifying. So here's my issue with that. My issue with that is they have a very small shade range, and it would make more sense to me since, again, a lot of their shades kind of run dark anyway. Why not buy more of that lighter shade to keep the price down for the light people, but then also we could adjust our foundations using it. So I found that to be a bit odd, but then also right after I contacted them, I looked on the website and they lowered the price of that foundation. I'm not really buying the whole at cost thing, and also if they are able to do that, I'm not sure that the at cost prices are truly the at cost prices. And how are we to know the volumes in which they purchased. So they're saying that they're being transparent, but I think in order for them to be more transparent, shouldn't they also then be telling us the volumes in which they've purchased each batch in? No, especially on a product like that where the price is hiked up a little bit. I mean, I don't know. If it's a smaller batch, then I think that, I don't know, we should know that. Or then just to make it fair across the board, then shouldn't they just take averages and average out all of the foundation shades? I don't know. Like, I just find that to be a little bit weird. I also want to point out that their Instagram serves all of their Beauty Pie customers no matter what country they reside in. So their products a lot of the times will launch in the UK first, and you have to, sometimes they won't specify, sometimes they will, but there was a time where they actually launched, and I actually have the palette to show you, and they had said that it was up on the site. I go to the site, it was not on the site. So then I just made a comment saying, hey, I can't find it anywhere on the site. And then Marsha Kilgore, who again is the creator of the company, then commented to me, and her comment I found to be a little bit rude. And again, I'll put it here on the screen. I said, is this not available in the US? I looked and couldn't find it on the website. And then she responded with, it should be, but did come from Italy, so maybe a little late arriving. Can you wait? And then she did put a winky face to just kind of let me know, like, can you wait? Like, okay, so here's the thing with that. It's like, again, it's text. I'm not sure how she's saying it, but like telling a customer, like, can you wait? Like, does she mean like, can you wait? Like, as in the, sometimes like, I can't wait, or like, can you wait? Like, I don't know. I found it a little bit, I don't know. I didn't like it. So I don't know. And again, she's the person who started the company, and she said it should be, maybe have somebody who works at the company who knows. Like, no, it's not, and it will be on this day on the website, or whoever's working the website. I don't know. Maybe have your information before responding. The other thing that I find to be a little bit annoying, in which I guess this is more annoys me with the FDA and I guess not them, but all of their SPF products are not available for us here in the United States because of FDA regulations. So if you see any products that they're advertising on their Instagram that have SPF in them, you cannot get them here in the United States. So that includes like their tinted moisturizers, and that also includes just the actual SPF products. So, and then also I have seen like other sort of like, foundation-y products. They used to have it was like a foundation, but it was like a pigment foundation. It was in a black bottle, and we never got that here in the United States. I'm not sure what it was, but it was like a thin foundation in a black bottle. We never got it. So there are a few items that they got that we never did. I think that they're not doing that as much other than the SPF products now, but there are a few things that, you know, don't cross over to us. So when I first joined, they had limited products. They didn't have the skincare range, the hair care range, the candles, or the fragrances. So they pretty much just had, you know, like lip glosses, some lipsticks, mascaras. I think the eyeliners were there. I think the shadow sticks were always there, you know, and foundations. So they had, but it was like limited basic items. And so I had been with them for a few months, and I had pretty much purchased everything on the website that I was interested in trying. So at that point, my allowance was building up, and so I called them and I asked them if I had paused my membership for a while, if my allowance would still be there once I was ready to come back, because they had announced that at some point they would be coming out with skincare. So I just wanted to pause until they did come out with the skincare, because I knew that was something that I would be more interested in. And the lady I talked to on the phone told me yes, my allowance would still be there, just to come back when I was, ready and, whatever. So I went ahead and I canceled my membership at that point. So then fast forward to when they start coming out with skincare and rolling out new products, I become a member again. And then I look in to see my allowance and it's no longer there. So then I email them and I ask them where my allowance is, and they told me that since I canceled, I lost my allowance. And I was really annoyed by that because I was specifically told one thing and then another happened. So I did go a while because it took them a while to come out with their skincare. So I'm guessing that the policy had changed, but they never informed me of the policy change while I was no longer a member. So that's one thing I just want to let you know, that if you cancel or pause your membership with them, I would spend your allowance first if you plan on coming back at some point. Just wanted to let you know that. I guess they do have a new policy in place though. If you pause or cancel your membership, but then you rejoin within 30 days, your allowance is still there. So pretty much if you just don't let a month pass. However, if you let more than a month pass, it's gone. In which I did let more than a month pass because it took them quite a while to get the products in that I was interested in. They've had a few little website glitches. I don't consider these to be big deals, just minor annoyances. About a month ago, I went to purchase a few items online and it just would not accept my payment. And not as in like just a glitch saying that it like said something was down or whatever. And at first I thought it was just like my card, but I was even using PayPal and they even suggested online. So they knew it was happening and they had suggested on Instagram, which they do keep everybody up to date on Instagram with any problems. They suggested on Instagram just to use PayPal. So I went in on my phone, tried to use PayPal, it still did not take it. So I'm not quite sure what was going on there, but again, it was fixed within a day because then I was able to make my purchase after that. Not a huge deal. So then also they opened up their holiday gift shop, and with that, the whole idea was you would not be using up your allowance to purchase holiday items. And they would just charge an extra 10%, and that's where they would be making their money there. So I go to do it. It was taking my allowance, so then I wasn't able to purchase, above a certain point, and then at some point it made it to where I couldn't add items to my cart and it just wasn't working. So there was like a huge glitch. It wasn't working the way they wanted it to, and I think it was just, again, problems with the website. So it's not a huge deal, but again, on Instagram they did update and say that it wasn't working the way they wanted it to and that they would keep us updated. So clearly I still enjoy Beauty Pie products. I'm still a member. I think that they have wonderful products, and there are just a few things that bother me a little bit about it, and I think that they're working out the kinks. I don't think that they're a terrible company and that they're mishandling things. And again, I started with them at the beginning, and I think that these things, will be worked out. But the thing that I think that we're going to have to keep an eye on is if the items that we're purchasing are worth our money and if it's going to continue being a good value. Because when I first started purchasing these items, they were quite a bit cheaper than what I'm purchasing them for now. So that's one thing that we need to keep an eye on. And then also the fact with us paying our membership and the inflated MSRP. So you need to look at the entire amount of money that you're paying, and if it's the quality that you think is there. So again, there are tons of items that I think the quality is there. I will leave all of those items in the description box that I think are awesome. I'll leave my referral below. You can use it, you don't have to. And then that just gives me more allowance to purchase things, and also gives you your first month of your free allowance, which is, I guess, like a $10 discount off of your membership. In my next video, I'm just going to be using Beauty Pie products on my face, just pretty much what you see on my face now. And then I am going to be going through showing you the different lines of Beauty Pie products, because I have mostly everything on the website, and that is to include different accessories, different lines, And then also I am going to talk about what I think is more drugstore quality and what's more luxury quality. And I did touch on that a little bit here. And I'm also going to be comparing it to the products that I have in my collection that they are trying to dupe. So if you have any questions on any of the products, go ahead and leave those below. I'm glad to answer any of your questions. If I wasn't clear on anything, again, I'll answer questions below. And again, in the next video, again, I'm not going to be doing detailed sorts of reviews on all the products because I have hundreds of products here. So if there's any products or product lines within Beauty Pie that you want a detailed review on, let me know and I can do an individual video on that as well, or at least give you a comment letting you know about that product. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.